Is it okay? Yes. So I don't see that SSD is so important for big data at all, because it doesn't matter where you store them. It's a question what you are storing and why. And there is a lot of data, unfortunately. So everybody likes mobility and freedom. It's a lifestyle now. I don't think that there is anybody who is not using some kind of cloud application. Is there somebody who is not using Gmail or something similar? Oh, nobody is using cloud application here? Really? So everybody, I just told, if somebody is not using, please hand up, I want to see this person. Okay, so everybody is using. Okay. We have also a lot of things which somebody even doesn't know that it's using cloud technologies. Wi-Fi is universal media for it. In some cases, of course, it's 4G, 5G, 3G, anything, but Wi-Fi is everywhere now, and there is a lot of devices, and now we are in the moment that there is more devices which are not having cable connection at all. There are more than devices which actually have this kind of connection in the world. And this will be expanding. And computers, they're not coming to be more. Mobile devices are multiplying every year. And there are also new types of devices all the time. There are some mythology about Wi-Fi. It comes from the old years, and the first of this is that Wi-Fi networks are insecure. The second, that the Wi-Fi networks are the primary target for hackers. The old, you can see this advice everywhere, also in many very serious manuals, but it's complete bullshit, of course. Hide your SSID. I have seen it long time. I was saying during last 10 years that it's complete bullshit, and I still see it online and in normal, modern Wi-Fi manuals. Keep corporate data away from Wi-Fi. It's a good advice, of course. The question is how you can do it. So, statement 1, Wi-Fi networks are insecure. This statement is actually very old, and it originates from the first stage of Wi-Fi technology. And there are 2 reasons. The first, everybody was feeling that it's not secure because you cannot limit where Wi-Fi is. So, cable connection is in this socket. Wi-Fi is somewhere in the air around, and you cannot limit it by the wall of your room. Of course, it's understandable, but in fact, for 10 years, Wi-Fi is using the strongest encryption which is commonly used, IS. It's not yet hacked, and in principle, they are much safer than any wired network in use now. And also, this statement originates also of the history of web encryption, which was the first stage of encryption. The name of it is wired equivalent privacy, which was good marketing, but very bad implementation, which was flawed and hacked in the day when it was published, actually. And later it was replaced, and now you can forget about it, but people who are speaking about that Wi-Fi networks are not secure usually are not technical persons. They are mainly speaking about things that they actually don't understand. And this became common saying about wireless networks. Statement 2, risk related to Wi-Fi configurations. Auditors often have different points in checklists. When I see them, I'm really surprised about changing default password to something which is not default. But it's interesting that this still you can see sometimes switch with Cisco username and password and so on in production. It happens. But anyway, it's not the thing which you expect in enterprise network. So you can put it, but it's not very serious. Password strengths, and anyway, this example about service set identifier, SSID, that you have to change it to something and hide it, it's complete bullshit, because actually it doesn't help security at all, because if you have Windows 7 and later, you see this network anyway, and it's very easy to sniff what kind of SSID is used. And it just can attract a hacker, because if you are hiding something, probably there is something interesting, something valuable. Because hacking, there are different reasons. One of the reasons for fun, but mostly it's for money. So, you can see this link. This is actually a very serious company making compliance testing, consulting in security and Wi-Fi and so on services, and they have all these things on their website as a recommendation for their users. I was really surprised. It took 5 minutes for me to find 3 or 4 these kind of links. So these statements are still in normal documents of security consultant. If you have this kind of security consultant, you can expect results that you will be not secure, because obviously they ignore all advances in technology during the last 10 years. So they actually don't know about what they are speaking. Unfortunately, this is this way. Another mythology is that Wi-Fi networks are the primary target for hackers. It's actually not the case. Why? Because what you gain hacking Wi-Fi networks? Actually, not much. There is no much data available. There is nothing valuable. It's much more interesting to hack, I don't know, eBay, bank data center or something. There you have a lot of data in one place. You have valuable data and you can make money for this. Of course, Wi-Fi is hacked by hackers, mainly to be anonymous, to get access to internet and to get connection which is not and somehow related to them. But you have to understand that it's not the thing which is the main concern of hackers. They are interested in much more important targets because they want results, and there is nothing to say around other hackers. I have hacked some kind of Wi-Fi network. Of course, there is no possibility to secure your network if your credentials are available to hacker. In this case, you are completely in the wild. So, the last statement. Keep corporate data from the Wi-Fi access. This is actually not so bad advice, but it's the classic advice which you cannot follow. Because normally now you have more devices which have no at all wired connections, and you have to use them. So you have to use wireless connection. And if you have devices and don't use them for work, why you have them? It's not understandable. So actually, everybody uses Wi-Fi. There are now enterprises which have completely wired-free connections for the personnel. It's a lot of them. Actually, in our office, we use wired connections only for servers. So it's just normal thing because there is a lot of benefits of not having wired connections. And actually, security is not worse than if you have wired connections, because problems of security are actually completely in different places. All big incidents with security, all the high-profile things, they have nothing to do with wireless. If we look at it, it's mainly different kind of accounts on public services, on cloud services, in big data centers. There are exploits of enterprise networks because there is a goal, there is something to achieve, there is something to get. And all these things are usually in data centers, so connected to the wired network. But anyway, just standard firewalls as they have been 10 years ago doesn't help anymore because old policing thing is as on this picture. You have a guy with radio saying that the packets are going in the wrong direction. It doesn't help. The data flow will not change. Data flow will go around and he will not see it. It's exactly the situation in many cases we have now in enterprises. Often, enterprises even don't know they have been hacked for 2 years already, because now hackers mainly are not playing that you have black screen and information you are hacked. No, they're just inside and getting information from you, and the best for them that you don't know that something happened, as long as it's possible. There have been a lot of changes from year 2000, in Wi-Fi especially. Wi-Fi have changed completely. There is a lot of new things, and also it changed how it's used, because in the beginning it was just small exclusive edition, so you have mainly all users connected by cables and 1, 2, 3 users connected by wireless. Now it becomes other way, so most users are connected on the Wi-Fi, some users have wired connection. But situation is changed completely with data. Previously data have been clearly defined where they are. Now Data are everywhere, and we will speak about this a little bit later, but also people are using a lot of systems. And if you have connection to 10 to 3 tenths, 100 systems maybe, and if you try to count how many accounts you have, including your social networks, including your bank, including Eriga service, including your enterprise account and so on, people don't remember much passwords. If there is somebody who is using for every account different password, please take your hand up. I want to see this person. So, 1 from how many? Second. Really? You are not using any password twice. So, you are using some kind of password manager? No. So, okay, fantastic. So, you are a hacker, probably. Okay, but for every account, different password. Okay. But you are exclusion. 90% people use maybe 2, 3, 10 passwords, not more. 10, it's very high number. And if you count, there are at least 20 services you have to connect using a password. And it means that people often reuse passwords. And it means that if you use your password on any service which is less secure than others, this very heavily secured service becomes as secured as the worst service which is using the same credentials. And the problem is that in many cases, even if you don't know anything about user, but just know that on site, I don't know, internet shop, BMLW, somebody is using this username and password, and username being his email, and password is this, it's very high probability that he is using the same password and username, for example, on Facebook, somewhere else. And after this, you can do a lot of damage. There are, of course, primary target of hackers, places when you can find a lot of data about accounts. Biggest that I know was eBay hack, because it was 140 million accounts affected. It's enormous number. It's imagine try to hack 140 million systems. It would take a long time. In this case, it was just one hack. It was a lot of data, and now nobody remember it. It was 1 year ago, but nobody remember it now. I think everybody here has account on eBay. Yes? When you have changed your password last time? After event? Who else was changing password after this hacking event? Less than half. This is answer about security. Yes. There is just the list. Most of these things are in the United States. Actually, all of them, except eBay, because it's international. Because in the United States, if companies hack it, they have to disclose this and inform everybody affected. In Europe, it's not mandatory. So you never know if somebody is hacked, if just some newspaper don't get this information and make public. So this is just some. There are numbers, how many accounts have been disclosed to hackers. There is only one exception. There is, I think it's not, I haven't included it there. There was one archive, there was a question if the data have been actually disclosed. Technical guy sent failing hard drive to the repair service, and it was not properly disintegrated. So nobody knows where this drive is now, but it contains 60 million social account numbers for veteran of military. So it was interesting data, but nobody knows if they have been disclosed. All others have got to hackers, all of them. And this is quite a lot. So actually, something about every fifth person in the United States has been affected by this kind of incident already. I don't know how it's about world. Nobody knows actually, because you don't know. As far as you don't have problems, real problems, for example, that money is going from your account and so on, you don't know about it. But it happens. I had my friend who had eBay account, and he lost not much money because he has something about $500 there, but it have been lost. Okay. This is just nice pictures, nothing more. Cloud services. Cloud services is something which was new some years ago. Now it's something which powers the most interesting thing in the industry, and cloud actually changed how a lot of things work and how we actually make our things done. In many cases, it's different things, starting from email. The first service which was very commonly used was Gmail. But to many other services, and some of these we even don't know actually that it's used by cloud. For example, most firewall XTM, UTM appliances are using now some kind of cloud services because and also most antivirus which you have on your computers also now using cloud services. Anyway, cloud services related to Wi-Fi can be divided in different groups. Cloud solutions accessed through Wi-Fi. This is just access, and Wi-Fi just works as a media, because Wi-Fi is now universal media for everything. Services on mobile devices which are actually powered by cloud. There are a lot of them now. Some of them even doesn't look as cloud connected, but they are. Solution based on location and present data. This is solutions which, from my point of view, are now going up, and there is a lot of money in this market, but personally I don't like them because it's marketing and nothing more, and they just make people to buy things more than they want. Solution based on Wi-Fi access and usage data. It's mainly also for marketing, but it's good because it usually means that you have free Wi-Fi access. And cloud managed Wi-Fi solutions, it's just you have different way to implement Wi-Fi. It's great. So one of the applications which is very famous now, and I think some of you already use it, it's virtual assistant. All three main platforms of mobile phones got it. It's Windows Phone, it's Apple, of course, and it's also Android. Apple was the first to make it working with Siri. And actually it's based on cloud service, which is scanning all information available to it, your personal information, scanning all your sharing from your phone and so on, and making some kind of text rich answers and prediction data. Actually, in future, maybe it will become some kind of artificial intellect, making real advices to you. But just now, sometimes it's also very clever. The problem is that, for example, I don't like to share data about what I'm doing with cloud, so it cannot do anything for me because I have no data at all. But in principle, most people doesn't care about sharing data, so they can get something useful from it. Wi-Fi integration, it's just access to public Wi-Fi hotspots. Previously, it was technically difficult to make something similar, and mostly in most small offices and small coffee shops and small hotels and so on, you got just Wi-Fi by some kind of code without any marketing. Now these solutions matured, and you usually get marketing screens and some kind of registration. Sometimes you can register with your Facebook and so on. After this, you make like to this coffee shop or something similar to it. This is one of the applications. It's completely usually cloud-based, and it's also something different. I would not say that it's a very good thing, but it's something new and sometimes convenient, which is brought to us by cloud technology and Wi-Fi together. Of course, security of this is also the question, because if you are giving out your Facebook passwords, for example, you can expect some things which will be not good for you. Location services based on Wi-Fi. This is also a new thing. This kind of data can be got from Wi-Fi systems, looking how your devices are changing location in Wi-Fi area. And on these are built different kind of application. One of these, the most important application, is service applications for hospitality. So you choose some kind kind of service, and it just shows you navigation inside of the building to the place which you need. On exhibitions, for example, to find some exhibitor you like, or in medical or in hotels, location of specific room or manager or something. These applications are useful, and in United States they are becoming increasingly popular now. In Latvia it's not yet so popular because technically it's not so easy to implement them, but I think it's a question of 1 or 2 years they will be commonplace. Similar thing is just for indoor navigation. The most useful they are, of course, in hospitality and in big retail centers where you can get advice, where you can buy some products. For retailers, of course, it's also good things. They can show you some advertisements. For example, there is discount to buying, I don't know, dishwashing machine, and there is a place where you can get it, and so on. This is actually the reason why these kind of applications are developed and implemented. Another breadth of this is with backends. Using backends, applications can show more context-aware applications, so you are going somewhere and it feels very precisely your location, and you get some kind of promotions, and so on. In principle, it's useful technology, and also it is based normally on cloud things. Loyalty application, different kind of components, it's the same. Also, it's cloud-based normally. In principle, it could be done also on standard server technology. But the question is that these things have to be implemented on a big scale. For example, if you are going for some big retailer in world scale, it has, for example, I don't know, 600 shops, 1,000 shops, and it's not viable to install something in every shop. So you just make a cloud solution, and you have nothing to install in shops except Wi-Fi or something. And the most sensitive thing, payment applications, they are becoming increasingly popular. Why they're becoming popular? Because mobile operators and also some other players, vendors such as Apple, for example, are interested to get into banking business because it's live money. It's a good money, so they are pushing these things. In principle, of course, it's interesting feature. The problem is that there are a lot of issues with security, and of course, probably all problems with security will be resolved at some moment, and it probably in the future you will really have some unified terminal which will be something between credit card and mobile phone, which will be used for everything. You will open doors, I don't know, you will power your car, you will find way in building and outdoors, you will pay for tickets, you will show as a ticket, you will do everything. And when you lose it, you have lost everything probably. Maybe it will be implanted in your hand, I don't know, everything is possible. But anyway, it's very well pushed by vendors because there is a lot of money. Because if something happens in such of industry where you need to invest hundreds of millions to get things done, it means that there is money as a goal. Banking application, secure access token applications. Now it's very common to have two-factor authorization using not standard hardware tokens, but having on your mobile phone some kind of application. So you just put PIN code inside, and it shows you unique one-time password, so you can input it in your VPN application or in your bank application and so on. Sometimes you have also your bank application on your phone, so you can do everything from your phone. Okay. There is the same thing. If you think about it, you don't like having it all in your phone, but it's very convenient, of course. There is also location services and analytics. All these things are the kinds of data you can get. So, in common, what kind of data are here? It's the same as about you as a person and also about company. Most mobile devices contain user credential for networks and IT systems, usually more than for one. It's at least for some Wi-Fi networks, usually not one, but many. You have usually some email account configured here. If you have banking application, you have more. You have Facebook application, you have Twitter application, you have a lot of things. You have a lot of credentials there. Also, you have contact list. You have your messages there. You have your mails inside, you have call logs. It's a lot of information. You have also often some kind of credit card data. For example, if you have PayPal application on your phone, it can store your credit card data. Okay, it's PIN protected, but especially if it's on Android, it's interesting situation what is protected. Also, you can have different media files, video, photo, everything. So this is data, and it may be valuable. If it's corporate phone, you can have also corporate mail. It can contain different kind of sensitive documents, attachment to the mails, and so on. There can be a lot, including, for example, Excel sheets with very sensitive information. And often not Excel sheet is the most sensitive information. Sometimes just email with some words may be very sensitive. This is information which you have just on your mobile phone, but at least somehow you can control it because it's in your pocket. But service providers and cloud systems collect a lot of information which even don't know that it exists. Location history, it means not only location history which is collected by mobile operator to which tower you're connected, where you're located, because this precision is about 100 meters or something about this. But they have also often data from your GPS, even if you have turned it off. Because it's interesting that if your Android phone has GPS turned off, and if you especially doesn't drill down to disable it completely, there is option that still sometimes Google can turn it on, get location, and turn it off again without your consent, completely. And if you disable it, I'm not sure if you really disable it. Nobody knows it. You cannot check it, actually. But anyway, you have your web browsing history. Even if you don't save it in your phone, it's completely available for operator, of course, and it's saved, definitely. So it has full information about your browsing history, habits, about searches, everything. Interaction history with other persons, calling, messaging, pictures you have made. Pictures may be face recognized, for example, and so on. Any transactions which you made using your phone. Car navigation history and driving habits. Searches for locations and so on. There is a lot of more data can be derived from it. So it's now well known that agencies in such countries as United States and also European big countries have made a huge infrastructure to use all this data, to find terrorists. But in the process of finding terrorists, they are spying on everybody. Just they are making a huge bank of data, and when they need, they can search through it and find everything what they want. So, where these data are located? Nobody knows, actually. Social networking, cloud services, data collection, everything, this service can have its own data center, and it can be changed all the time. And big services, such as Google, for example, they even have not defined place where something is located, so that it floats around somewhere. And anyway, you have no ways to control where they are, what is collected, and where they are stored. Some services provide you option to check box for that you don't want that something will be collected, and so on. There are two questions. First question, if after you check out this data collection, if they're not collected, you cannot check it. It's one thing. And there are many services which even don't give you such opportunity. If you're installing any application from Android market, most of them ask you to give access to your call list, to your telephone number list, to your text messages, to your camera, to your media files, to your SD card, to everything. And if you don't agree, you can't install application. So 99% people just agree and install. So after this, legally, this application vendor have access to all your phone data. Okay, maybe they're interested just in this small part of this data. But what do you know? How they're storing them? How they're securing them? And what happens when they're hacked? Which happens all the time. And this is much more interesting place for hackers to go. Because to hack your phone, you need to be, I don't know, Merkel or somebody to be interested as a person. But if you go to some database of, I don't know, some WASE user database, you can get data from 100 million users. And after this, you can go for every user or users you like. Who wants this data? Because a lot of people say, I don't care. Nobody's interested in my data, in my JPEGs on my phone, in my call log and something. I'm not doing something which is interesting for somebody. But actually, it's not this way. This data has value. And it's just justified. Google is one of the richest companies in the world. They have done this money in two ways. First was AdWords, and the second is selling information they get mining this data. They're not saying this, but it's truth. And now they have a lot of money to invest in different other projects and to collect even more. We have time? I'm sorry. Actually, I had one slide. I want to finish this, and I'm finished with this. So everybody is using this data for marketing. Small businesses, big businesses, but government and big corporation have much more use for this data. And hackers are hacking into this data bank and getting to this data. So it's very difficult now to get your data secured. So look for what you are sharing. Look what you are making available to collection. Because after you shared something and get it collected, you cannot get it back under control. So this is mainly this. You have to go this way, using services as much as you can, but not drop there, not to be eaten by crocodiles. Okay? I'm not so late, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Very interesting story.
Yeah.